Hello again, it's me, Celine, brand and community manager for Game On Tabletop, the tabletop crowdfunding platform for gamers by gamers. Are you already familiar with words like pledges, stretch goals, reward levels, campaigns, crowdfunding? I know if you're new to crowdfunding, these can get quite overwhelming. This video was made for you as I'm going to decipher those words one by one so that you'll become a crowdfunding expert pretty much in no time. Oh, and if you already know those words like the back of your hand, feel free to stay here as well, as I'm sure you have a friend, a parent, a grandparent, a partner, or who knows, a dog who always asks you, what are you doing? What the heck is crowdfunding? Now you'll be able to share this video with them. So, crowdfunding dictionary, here it comes. Just before starting, I wanted to let you know that this is our part 1 of our crowdfunding dictionary series. You can find all the different words that we're going to tackle today in the description of this video with their timestamps. Toodles! It's important to always start with the basics. So first word is, you guessed it, crowdfunding. Crowdfunding literally means that you're funding your project using the crowd support. A crowd being, most of the time, people that you don't know and that are willing to give some of the money to you because they believe in your project or because they want to get something from it in return. There are many different types of crowdfunding. I won't go into too much details on all of them, but just to name a few examples, there is equity crowdfunding, which is people who are funding a project, often the creation of a company, in exchange of a percentage of the shares of this company. But it can also just be donation-based crowdfunding, where people will make pure donations to a project they care about without getting anything in return. But in this video, I'm going to concentrate on reward-based crowdfunding, which is the type of crowdfunding that you find in most board game-related campaigns, which contains what we call pledges or reward levels, but we'll get to those words later. On Game On Tabletop's platform, for instance, board game-related projects are being funded every week, thanks to a specific crowd, a community of passionate board game enthusiasts. Pretty cool, right? Next words, or should I say 2 words, is crowdfunding platform. We're gonna go fast on this one, as you probably already guessed it. A crowdfunding platform is a place, or more exactly a website, that allows a project manager to create a crowdfunding page to talk about their project and receive the funds there. So, for instance, Game On Tabletop offers those services through its tabletop dedicated crowdfunding platform for game creators or game publishers who would like to fund their project with the help of board game lovers. Now we can move on to the crowdfunding page, which is more commonly called the crowdfunding campaign. If we look in a dictionary, a campaign is an organized course of action to achieve a goal. Right, so in simpler words, a campaign is something that allows you to get closer to your goal. For a crowdfunding campaign, the goal is to fund the project. But it's also more than that. A crowdfunding campaign for a project manager is a whole journey, a quest, if I shall say it, with ups and downs and as well a lot of things to prepare and think about. Difficult, but so worth it. If you're a game creator, we already made a video on why you should crowdfund your game. If you want to know more, you can watch it right here. But for people who help fund the project, a crowdfunding campaign takes the form of a page with illustrations, videos, descriptions on the project, reward levels, add-ons, stretch goals, but I'll explain those words later. If you want to know more on how to read and support campaigns on Game On, we also made a video on that. Yep, we got you all covered. You can watch it just somewhere around here. A backer. What is a backer? Does it have something to do with our backs? Well, it actually kinda does. A backer is someone that will have your back by supporting your project, which means a backer is someone from the crowd who will be giving some of their money to help the project reach its funding goal. It can also be used as a verb in a sentence like, I'm going to back this campaign on Game On's platform. Mixing up the words we just learned. So yeah, backing means supporting. Not to confuse with baking though, that's not really the same thing. Now that we know what a backer is, we have to see the person on the other side, the project manager. A project manager is the person behind the project. It's the person or people who created and are managing the said campaign. On Game On, for example, Most project managers are game creators or game publishers who have at least an independent status, but it can also be a company, which is in need of some funds to bring their board game related projects to life. On Campaigns on Game On, you can find more information on the project manager by clicking on the contact box or by clicking on their name right here to see their past projects. The funding goal. I'm gonna go fast on this as well, as it's a pretty easy one. The funding goal is the initial goal that the campaign has to reach to be considered funded. Let's say that it's the bare minimum that the project needs to be brought to life. If the funding goal has not been reached within the runtime of the campaign, then unfortunately the campaign failed. The project won't happen, or not this time at least. In this situation, if backers already gave some of their money to the project, they will be refunded by the project manager. As you might have noticed, when I explained the funding goal, I also called it the initial goal, insinuating that there are other goals on crowdfunding campaigns. Those other goals are called the stretch goals. Most of the time, campaigns exceed their initial goal and receive more funds. In anticipation of that, stretch goals are added to the campaign from the start and will be used to upgrade the project. They're like extra promises that can take the form of goodies, material upgrades, expansions, inserts, or many more. They are used as an incentive to keep receiving support when the project has reached its funding goal to make the campaign even better. And sometimes there's also social stretch goals. With that, the project manager asks backers to share the campaign a certain amount of time to unlock more goodies and give more exposure to the campaign. The combination of community and funding is what makes crowdfunding so special. Last word of our part 1 of our crowdfunding dictionary series, the reward levels. You will also sometimes hear it being called pledges, though there is actually a difference between the two. On crowdfunding campaigns, especially on board game related projects, backers will get something in return for their support. What they will get is a reward level that can be the game itself, but it can also be goodies or tickets to a special related event, or many other things. On Game on Tabletop, most campaigns have more than one reward level available. Backers can choose the one that they want. The more expensive the reward level, the more perks it will include. For instance, here for $15 you get the PDF version of the book, then for $30 you get the physical version, and then for $50 you get the box, and so on. And pledge can sometimes be used to refer to reward levels, but originally a pledge is a donation. It's the promise of giving money to the project, but not necessarily getting something in return. Pledges without rewards are pretty rare on Game On, as regular reward levels often work better in the board game industry and allows to show consideration and thank backers for their support. And that's it for our part 1 from our crowdfunding dictionary series. We've already learned many words today: crowdfunding, backer, project manager, funding goals, stretch goals, a lot to process. Next time we will see other crowdfunding related words like add-on, pledge manager, late pledge, early bird, and many more. So, as always, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you won't miss the next one. Let us know in the comments what you think of those teaching videos. Have a nice day, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!